Hey, it's your boy Beck, and today I want to talk about more Yuri manga. More specifically, the series Still Sick. This series is by an author that goes by Akashi. There are 3 full volumes of this series, and I just decided I kind of want to talk about it. So this series is a Yuri romance girls love manga. It involves characters who are adults and, working adults. And I found that to be very refreshing, as a lot of manga out there that is romance based takes place in high school or middle school. And as a working adult, I would like to see stories that reflect me a bit more. And so that was a big reason why I picked this series up. I'm gonna go into some details about this series and then talk about kind of the plot and blah 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 blah, you know the drill. So the series is published in English by Tokyopop, which I find pretty interesting because, when I first got into manga, Tokyopop was kind of one of the things I bought from a lot here in the US. And I was not surprised, but also pretty sad when they went under and stopped publishing manga. And I think it's really cool that they're publishing manga again. And they are doing a lot, well, not a lot, but a fairly decent amount of girls love and boys love series, which I think that's really cool, because that's a huge interest of mine, being a fellow gay. And so yeah, I think that's really cool. The series is rated teen. It says some suggestive material. I'm always like, what does that mean? I think a teen rating is just fine for this series. Nothing too adult in it. It's pretty tame, and there's nothing in there that I don't think anybody wouldn't get. But it being a romance about adults, it makes a bit more sense for teens rather than anything younger than that. All right, the plot synopsis of the first book, which, plot synopsis of the series. Makoto Shimizu is just an ordinary office worker, blending in seamlessly with her colleagues on the job. That is, until her coworker Akane Mikawa discovers her well-hidden secret. In her spare time, she draws and sells girls' loves comics. Akane is the last person Makoto would think of as a nerd, but as the two grow closer, it starts to seem like Akane may have a secret of her own. So this combines a few things. It combines manga writing, manga authorness, otaku culture, office life, and of course, Yuri romance. So it has a nice plate of things going on. I would like to note, I like the art style. It seems, I'm not super picky on art styles, but I think it looks pretty decent. I can try to show you some, but it makes more sense if I just put the images up like I've done in the past. So the series it's relatively short. I think this 3rd volume is technically like 1.5 volumes. So it's not super long running, but it gets to the point without being too short. Makoto Shimizu is, as stated, she's a normal office worker. I think she does IT stuff. I'd have to double check that. That's what I remember. I read this a bit ago. And, she's pretty dedicated to her job. She's kind of tries to keep her otaku side a secret. And yeah, in her spare time, she draws Yuri manga, like doujinshi. However, despite the fact that she writes this stuff, she adamantly claims that she's not interested in women like that. It's, she's, in the past, people assumed that she was, because of her interests and because of how she acts and dresses, and yeah, obviously she is. But she hasn't quite figured that bit out yet. Then we have Akane Mikawa, who is another one of her co-workers. She's the pink-haired one, because we all gotta have a pink-haired and a black-haired gay couple. Them's the rules. It's either that or like pink and blue or red and blue or something. So yeah, Mikawa is, she seems pretty normal and stuff. She takes interest in Shimizu's work, interested in the fact that she writes this manga, and ends up helping her, meet her deadlines, and is interest and helps her out at some conventions. And in that time, the two of them become good friends and then continue to get closer. That's kind of the basis of the two characters. Maekawa is a bit hot and cold. She comes across as someone who is very friendly and very interested in this stuff, but she's also very guarded. Her friendliness feels to her sometimes like it's a facade, whereas Shimizu is a lot more open about things, except for obviously the fact that she writes these comics. She tends to display her emotions kind of on her sleeve and is overall like a very earnest woman. The story overall is pretty short and simple. As we find out throughout the story, it turns out Maekawa used to write shoujo manga in the past and was a published mangaka, which is why she's so interested in Shimizu's work, as well as being very guarded and hesitant towards it. She has a lot of imposter syndrome and kind of deep fears about giving it her all. And I found certain parts of that in her character to be very relatable. I know I say this a lot when it comes to manga, but you know, relatability is something that I think is important. If you can't relate to your characters, at least on some level, it is a bit harder to put yourself in their shoes and empathize with their situations, which is probably why I didn't really like shoujo much until, I mean, I did like shoujo, but I didn't like it as much as I do now, which now I love it, until I kind of came to accept myself as gay, because I couldn't relate to those feelings that any of those characters were having until like I let myself, you know? So yeah, relatability is important. I know I say it a lot in all of these manga discussions, but it's important. So while we've got Maekawa kind of struggling with deciding what she wants to do, does she want to continue to, or try to restart again in the manga world? Does she want to reciprocate any feelings that Shimizu might have for her? Does she want to, because she's very guarded. And that is where a lot of, I would say, the drama and conflict comes from, is a lot of her walls that she's put up over time. Shimizu, yeah, so at the beginning, you know, she's very, well, I like all this stuff, but I'm not gay. Okay. not that liking gay stuff necessarily means you're gay, but like, you know, it's not an odd thing for somebody who likes this stuff to end up being gay as well. And so she kind of has those, but then as she spends more time with Maekawa, she quickly goes, oh, I do really like her, and she does end up being forthright about that and telling Maekawa pretty early on. And Maekawa is, again, kind of not really sure about that, so they kind of are balancing the we're friends, but I know you like me, and we're spending all this time together kind of thing. And it makes for a lot of fun, cute moments, and also some good heart pull tension moments of what's gonna happen. Although, you know, it's a shoujo, we know what's gonna happen. A lot of the themes in the story have to do with acceptance, both self-acceptance and acceptance from others. Because Maekawa, her biggest struggle, of course, is dealing with acceptance from her father as far as her manga career, and acceptance of herself, and being able to be who she is and not the person that her fears have made her become. And as well with Shimizu, a lot of her initial struggles, of course, are her own self-acceptance and self-discovery. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about as far as the plot goes and as far as the themes go. It is a pretty straightforward romance story, and it's just done very well. I think it is a really fun little read. The biggest reason why I want to share this manga with you or with whoever, you know, is watching this, just because I would like a lot more manga like this. Just a good, solid shoujo romance between two girls, and is also about adults. I think there are a lot of manga fans in the same boat as me, where we are older now and are adults. We're in our mid to late 20s, early 30s, and we would like to see stories that represent that aspect of life, and I think this just does a really solid job at that. So yeah, if you are interested at all, check them out. If you are interested in the manga creation side of things, it has some interesting stuff on that front that I think is worth reading if you're just interested in that kind of thing. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it at all. I hope other people read it and enjoy it. I know this one is kind of short and I don't have much in depth to say because I typically would more want to analyze the stories, but there really isn't much here to analyze, which I don't think is a bad thing in this case. But yeah, if you like discussions about manga, particularly LGBTQ manga, please like and subscribe, comment, etc. Have you read this? Do you like it? Are there other manga series that you like that feature adult characters? I've been really kind of looking for those lately. Thanks for watching. Bye.